already the 8th of March. Time flies.
Indeed.
But I wonder why boys give girls flowers on this day and flowers expensive.
It's International Women's Day. Giving flowers to your female close one is a way of showing respect and love towards them.
I don't get it. Why do people celebrate the International Women's Day? Where did it start? Why the 8th of March? There's a bunch of questions in my head right now.
Well, if you're wondering the exact same thing as Bao, make sure to keep watching to get a much better understanding of this special day.
Every year, on the 8th of March, International Women's Day is celebrated across the globe. It's a day to recognize female achievement and a call to action, encouraging everyone to stand up for women's rights and gender equality. You may be thinking the same as Bao. Why is this day so important? So, to explain this, we're moving to a quite cheapy part of this video, the history of International Women's Day. Throughout history, women have had to fight for the freedom and rights we enjoy today. 150 years ago, women couldn't vote, stand in parliament, receive proper medical attention, own property, access fair legal support, get paid the same as men, visit the same public areas as men, get a proper education. The list goes on. 150 years ago, people lived in a very different world to what we know now. So, how did things change? To unravel the true history of Women's Day, we need to go back over 100 years. The first hints of it appeared around 1900. In 1903, Emmeline Pankhurst formed Women's Social and Political Union. This led to years of protests, rallies, and strikes of women. By 1907, the International Conference of Socialist Women, led by Clara Zetkin, a German Marxist from the German Social Democratic Party, took place. One of her primary goals was to get women into work. At that conference, they demanded
the right to universal female suffrage without qualifications of property, tax, education, or any other kind of barrier which may hinder members of the working class from availing themselves of their political rights.
Across the ocean in the US, the Socialist Party and the Women's National Committee had declared the first Women's Day. On the 28th of February in 1909, in New York City, women marched through the streets and protested for better pay and working conditions. Following this, a second International Conference of Working Women came together in 1910. Clara Zetkin pushed the idea of an International Women's Day, a day every year and in every country where women could organize and press for equal rights. After an unanimous vote, International Women's Day was born. In 1912, the Lawrence Textile Strike, better known as the Bread and Roses Strike, took place in the US. During a speech of a socialist and feminist called Rose Schneiderman, she said,
"The worker must have bread, but she must have roses too."
In other words, workers need more than just wages to survive. The bread. They also need dignity and decent working standards. Roses. But then in 1914, the First World War took place. Political demonstrations across Europe, including Women's Day, were cracked down on to keep the peace on the home front. To oppose this war, Clara Zetkin organized the final Socialist Women's Conference in April 1915. However, the war went on despite all the efforts of these women. But the idea of Women's Day also went on. By 1917, the number of women working in factories had skyrocketed, as men marched off to war. The women replacing them were paid half as much. On top of this, women found themselves mostly working with long hours and horrific working conditions. Therefore, on International Women's Day 1917, women took to the streets to protest their mistreatments. In 1918, the Representation of the People Bill was passed, giving women the right to vote. However, it was only some women of a certain age and circumstance. In 1921, Clara Zetkin, in the Second International Conference of Communist Women in Moscow, stated that the 8th of March would now be the official date. In 1928, all women over 21 were finally allowed to vote. International Women's Day remained a major holiday only celebrated in socialist countries up until the 1970s. But feminists brought the celebration back and gave it a new meaning in the West as the women's movement grew. In 1975, the UN officially celebrated International Women's Day on the 8th of March. International Women's Day is now an official holiday in many countries. Along with the National Women's Day of Vietnam, the 20th of October, the International Women's Day is also considered a big day for celebrating women's worth. On this occasion, Vietnamese women usually receive care and honor in different ways, but the most popular one is being given roses, cards, and greetings. In addition, a number of activities are organized to honor women. For example, many agencies and companies hold ceremonies for female employees. Another example is that supermarkets and shopping malls launch promotional campaigns targeting women with discounted items or prices.
So there are a lot of activities actually. One more thing that I want to know, we are celebrating this day to honor Vietnamese women's values. Specifically, which ones?
Oh yes, I was forgetting that. Thanks for reminding me. Now we should show you the precious characteristics of Vietnamese women in general and the female students right in the school, Hiệp One High School in particular.
Vietnamese women are like diamonds. Diamonds are precious stones known for the combination of both beauty and brilliance, resilience and strength, and are formed under extreme pressure. So are Vietnamese women. They are hardworking and talented, devoted to family, charming, and beautiful. To help understand these characteristics better, I will take the female students in our school, Hiệp One High School, as examples. First and foremost, hardworking and talented. This is clearly seen in our female students. Not only do they study hard to fulfill all the school's assignments, but they also try to broaden their minds with knowledge outside school. Moreover, like every Vietnamese woman, Hiệp One High School students are also very talented. They are great singers, dancers, artists, creators, debaters, etc. Actually, I don't think I can name everything. Secondly, Vietnamese women are devoted to their family, whatever age they are at. Our fellow students are always aware of the importance of family and clearly understand morality, duty, discipline, love and respect. Therefore, they commit themselves building a happy and close-knit family. They haven't been able to contribute to the household finance yet, but they help their parents with household chores, preparing meals, taking care of other family members. This really proves how wonderful girls are, doesn't it? Thirdly, Vietnamese women are charming and beautiful. It's slightly just my biased opinion, but Vietnamese women are the most beautiful women on earth. They are the combination of amazing physical feature and inherent charm. Even female teenagers are also showing how gorgeous and attractive they are. No need to explain, just take a look at these photos. To be frank, there is still a bunch of amazing features that I cannot name. However, I believe we can conclude that Vietnamese women in general, and our fellow high school students in particular, are the treasures, and they deserve every best thing in the world.
Wow! Now that you mentioned that, I realize how wonderful my mom and my female friends are. But I think we haven't truly reached gender equality, right? There's still discrimination against women in the world, isn't it?
Sadly, indeed, there are many things that need to be done to fully treasure women's values.
Today, we are fortunate to live in a time and place where incredible opportunities are in abundance. Almost everyone can get an education, access healthcare, get a job, and speak their minds. However, we still have some work to do before we reach equality for all. One way that gender inequality plays out in our everyday life is through stereotypes. These kinds of phrases exist because of centuries of restrictive ideas about gender that really are not true or fair. People are way too unique and complex to fit neatly in a box. Stereotypes can be really damaging and can prevent you from being yourself and reaching your potential. Additionally, nowadays, women are still the minority in parliament, leadership roles, and career fields like science, politics, and engineering, as well as making less money than men on average. Women still suffer greater risks of violence and carry the burdens of family care nearly single-handedly. But every year brings more progress. In many countries, there are still rallies on the 8th of March to ask for gender equality and ending discrimination and violence against women. More and more women are going out to work and reaching higher positions. They are no longer just housewives, now they are working mothers. They're not just working mothers, they are also influencers. Now, women can raise their voices and contribute to making a better world for all.
MaiTrang.
Hello, this is MaiTrang.
And this is Duy Bảo from class 11A3.
We hope you guys find this video informative and fun.
If you do enjoy this video, please like us and comment below.
Don't forget to share this video to your friends and close ones so they can have more information about the 8th of March.
And I wish for everyone, especially women, a good health, happiness, and fortune for the future. Happy International Women's Day!